Well, hey guys, glad you could be here with me today. I want to go ahead and do a devotional with you, and I want to look at God Himself and just take a look at something that's kind of it almost becomes a summary term to describe Him. Um, and it's the beauty of God, okay? When we talk about beauty, we talk about, hey, that person has really great, face. The face is beautiful. And so, we just by that we're kind of talking about this total effect of all the features of their face, eyes, nose, mouth, ears, the whole nine yards, obviously. And so that's what makes a person beautiful, right? By our definition of the word. But when the Bible's talking about the beauty of God, it's talking about the summation of his characteristics, how all his characteristics, everything desirable, everything good is found in him. And that's what it's talking about by his beauty. It's not so much that God's good looking, although, I guess for something that's spirit and a non-physical thing, yeah, I suppose he would be, but I don't know. Regardless, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about God's beautiful characteristics. So I want to go ahead and take a look because um, King David talks about this. And so let's take a look. King David says in Psalm 27, verse 4, says this: One thing I ask of the Lord, one thing I seek most, is to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, delighting in the Lord's perfections and meditating in his temple. So King David was on the right track. He gets the idea that the best thing is just to be able to be in God's presence and just soak it all in, just drink it in, because God is beautiful in more ways than I think we're ever really going to understand fully. Uh, but that is God. I mean, he's perfect in all his ways. He's just the best of everything that's good. And that's part of what's so awesome about God. I guess you can, in a way, kind of summing it all together in this, you could say that's everything that's awesome about God. Because he's all that's good. He's all that's perfect. Everything that's desirable is found in him. Everything. And so that is our God. And he, in turn, turns around. He kind of asks us to head the same direction because characteristics are things that we can change and grow in. He asks us to do that. And so someday we're going to reach that point where we have attained something of a Christ-like character because we've died, we've gotten a new body. We don't have our sinful nature anymore. We don't have that tendency to screw things up. Someday we won't. And that's going to be a beautiful day. And so it talks about that day in the Bible. It talks about what he wants from us, what's going to happen in the book of Ephesians. So, Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians 5, and it's verse 27. I'm going to go ahead and back up just a little bit of verse. He starts off talking about wives, but he's really just kind of using that to illustrate what the church is for Jesus. So, here we go. Verse 25 says, For husbands, this means to love your wives just as Christ loved the church. He gave himself up, his life up for her, to make her holy and clean, washed by the cleansing of God's word. He did this to present her to himself as a glorious church, without spot or wrinkle or any other blemish. Instead, she will be holy and without fault. Guys, that's a beautiful day to look forward to. That's what we get to look forward to. God himself has cleaned us up, made us not just presentable, but made us beautiful by God's standards of the word. And so I'm looking forward to that day, and I hope you do too. So that's what I had for you today, and I hope it gets your day on the right track and aim towards God. I love you. I'll see you next time, guys.